High caffeine habits have become a common feature of modern life, with coffee, tea, energy drinks, and other caffeinated beverages forming part of the daily routines of millions of people worldwide. Caffeine is widely recognized for its ability to improve alertness, focus, and even athletic performance, and moderate intake is generally considered safe for healthy adults. However, emerging research suggests that habitual high caffeine consumption may influence metabolic regulation and sleep quality, revealing a complex interplay between caffeine, hormonal rhythms, glucose control, and circadian biology. While these findings might initially sound cautionary, they also provide insight into how individuals can harness the positive effects of caffeine while minimizing potential drawbacks, highlighting opportunities for mindful consumption, metabolic resilience, and better sleep hygiene. Caffeine primarily exerts its effects by antagonizing adenosine receptors in the central nervous system, leading to increased neural firing and stimulation of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis. This stimulation triggers cortisol release, the body's primary stress hormone, which follows a natural circadian rhythm, peaking shortly after waking and gradually declining throughout the day. When caffeine is consumed in high amounts or later in the day, it can amplify cortisol secretion and shift the natural rhythm, leading to sustained elevations that may affect metabolic function. Cortisol plays a critical role in glucose regulation, promoting hepatic gluconeogenesis, modulating insulin sensitivity in peripheral tissues, and influencing fat storage patterns. Chronically elevated cortisol, therefore, can contribute to impaired insulin sensitivity, higher fasting glucose levels, and increased central adiposity. From a positive perspective, understanding these mechanisms enables individuals to structure caffeine intake strategically, such as timing consumption in the morning to align with natural cortisol peaks, thereby benefiting alertness without significantly disrupting metabolic homeostasis. High caffeine consumption can also influence sleep quality, which in turn affects metabolic regulation. Sleep is essential for insulin sensitivity, appetite hormone balance, and overall energy metabolism. Caffeine delays sleep onset, reduces total sleep duration, and can disrupt deep, slow-wave sleep, which is particularly important for metabolic recovery. Even subtle reductions in sleep quality can elevate evening cortisol levels and alter leptin and ghrelin secretion, hormones that regulate hunger and satiety. The result can be increased appetite, cravings for high-calorie foods, and reduced glucose tolerance. Yet this interplay also highlights a positive opportunity. By moderating caffeine intake and avoiding consumption in the afternoon or evening, individuals can maintain high-quality sleep, preserve circadian rhythm integrity, and support metabolic resilience, demonstrating that the timing and context of caffeine intake are as important as total quantity. Caffeine also directly interacts with glucose metabolism. Acute caffeine intake can transiently elevate blood glucose and insulin levels due to sympathetic nervous system activation, catecholamine release, and increased hepatic glucose output. These effects are more pronounced in individuals with pre-existing insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome, suggesting that habitual high caffeine consumption could exacerbate underlying vulnerabilities. Nevertheless, moderate caffeine intake, particularly when consumed earlier in the day, has been associated in observational studies with lower long-term risk of type 2 diabetes. This apparent paradox underscores that the metabolic impact of caffeine depends on dose, timing, individual physiology, and dietary context, reinforcing the notion that caffeine is a tool that can be used strategically rather than a substance that must be entirely avoided. The positive effects of caffeine are notable when consumption is managed mindfully. Moderate daily intake, roughly equivalent to 2 to 4 cups of brewed coffee, has been linked to enhanced cognitive performance, increased energy expenditure, and improved endurance in exercise. Caffeine also appears to have antioxidant properties, contributing to vascular health, reducing inflammation, and supporting liver function. Furthermore, caffeine stimulates thermogenesis and fat oxidation, which can contribute to energy balance and weight management when combined with a healthy diet and regular physical activity. These benefits demonstrate that caffeine is not inherently harmful. Rather, its effects are dose and context-dependent, highlighting the value of personalized consumption strategies that maximize benefits while mitigating potential disruptions to metabolism and sleep. Individual sensitivity to caffeine varies widely due to genetic differences in metabolism, receptor sensitivity, and habitual intake. Some people metabolize caffeine rapidly, experiencing minimal sleep disturbance or metabolic effects, while others metabolize it slowly, leading to prolonged circulation, higher cortisol exposure, and more pronounced impacts on glucose regulation. Awareness of personal response allows for customization of caffeine consumption, including timing, dose, and source. Combining caffeine with meals or consuming lower caffeine alternatives, such as green or white tea, can provide alertness and antioxidant benefits without excessive disruption to hormonal or metabolic cycles, highlighting a tailored, evidence-based approach to caffeine use. Finally, lifestyle factors interact synergistically with caffeine to support metabolic and circadian health. Regular physical activity improves insulin sensitivity, reduces stress hormone burden, and can mitigate the metabolic effects of high caffeine intake. Balanced nutrition, with adequate protein, fiber, and micronutrients, stabilizes blood sugar and supports hormone regulation. Mindful sleep hygiene, including consistent bedtimes, limiting late-night light exposure, and moderating evening caffeine, helps maintain circadian rhythm integrity. When combined, these strategies allow individuals to enjoy the stimulating and cognitive benefits of caffeine without compromising metabolic regulation or sleep quality. In conclusion, high caffeine habits can influence metabolic regulation and sleep through complex interactions with cortisol cycles, glucose metabolism, and circadian rhythms. While chronic high intake or poorly timed consumption may contribute to insulin resistance, elevated fasting glucose, and sleep disruption, these effects are context-dependent, modifiable, and often reversible. The positive perspective is that caffeine remains a versatile and beneficial tool for alertness, performance, and metabolic support when consumed thoughtfully. By aligning intake with natural hormonal rhythms, moderating doses, and integrating supportive lifestyle practices such as exercise, balanced nutrition, and sleep hygiene, individuals can harness the advantages of caffeine while minimizing potential drawbacks, demonstrating that high caffeine beverages can be incorporated into a healthy, balanced, and metabolically resilient lifestyle.